Class, how you doing? This is Mike Osborne, and I'm coming to you from Gilbert, Arizona. All right, this week we have the option of doing any museum that we want that has public history that goes towards the Revolutionary War. All right, for you people in Virginia, it's easy for you, but I am here in Arizona, and I actually grew up in Massachusetts, in Quincy, Massachusetts. The same Quincy, Massachusetts, where Seraphin did his project. Seraphin, you did a great job on Peacefield and the Adams House. I actually grew up a mile from there. And the disadvantage of living here in Arizona is there's nothing like that, right? In Massachusetts, and I'm sure in Virginia too, it's easy to get the feeling of the spirit of 76 and get involved and have the young students get involved and what it felt like to be a colonial American. It gets the kids filled with pride and where they're from and pride in country. Now, that doesn't happen a lot in Arizona, one, because they don't have the live museums. However, I did find a live museum called Riley's Farm in California. Now, this museum is probably only good for late grade school, like 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. It might look like, from what I was looking online and some of the videos that I watched, it didn't look like it would be good for kids in high school. They might be too advanced for it, but I would like to go see this place because I love live museums. And this place is a live museum. All right, so if you go to Riley's Farm, they have an overnight trip that specializes in the American Revolution. All right, so you'll go there, you'll come at like 5 at night. They have quarters for you from what I understand. And the first thing that you do is you go there and you walk around and you see what it's like to live in colonial America. You can see a silversmith, you can churn butter, just like they used to do way back in the colonial days. Now, there was many museums like that when I grew up in Massachusetts. You could go on every street. There was a place where you could churn butter. But out here in Arizona, they don't have it. So this is actually probably a pretty good field trip that I'm going to recommend to the junior school history teachers. All right, I brought a picture of it right here. Now, here's what the Revolutionary War. They have battles sometimes, and it's a live museum, so you get to talk to some of the soldiers, the British soldiers, the American soldiers. All right. So on your first night of the overnight there, you'll run into something like this. You'll see things on the street, and you'll run into some British, and I guess like some of the red coats and their brilliant red colors give some of the children a hard time, right? To let them know what tyranny feels like. And then during those, when they're having supper or a camp out or something like that, you'll get a guest adventurer. It's Patrick Henry. He comes out and gives the "Give the Liberty or Give Me Death" speech. And the kids are supposed to be thrilled about that, and then they get all fired up. All right. After that, most of the kids go to bed, but they let some of the kids, like maybe 6 of them, stand watch and watch out for the redcoats. So they stand and they stay out there for like a half hour. Then they go to bed too. Next morning, everybody wakes up. They have breakfast, colonial breakfast that includes bacon and eggs. And then they have a bunch of different workshops for the kids. They have an Admiralty Court where you get to go see what it's like. They show justice, what it was, how the Admiralty Courts worked after the Stamp Act. And then they also show, the Sugar Act, I'm sorry. And then they also show a Stamp Act Congress, not the Stamp Act Congress, but they show a Stamp Act, the rebels from the Declaration, before the Declaration of Independence, like the 1665 in Boston, and how that worked out. Now, this trip is supposed to be really good, and it's a good way for the kids out here, if you live in the West, to get that spirit of 76 that they don't have. Out here, they're like cowboys. I don't know. I grew up back east, and it was all about the revolution. All right. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my thing. Bye-bye.